A lollipop, that's perfect. Okay, I hope you're ready to be blown away. Casey, hit it. Okay, my name's Nellie. I'm an MFA candidate at the University of Montana, and I just recently, 2 weeks ago, discovered that I was interested in this project that I invented called the 365 Days Project. And before I unravel that project, a lot of my inspiration, let's start at the beginning, a lot of my inspiration is from curiosity cabinets, which were the first ideas of the museum. And so they were these odd images, juxtapositions of images together of old things, natural things, that kind of created a sense of mystery, curiosity. And so this is some of my artwork that was based on that. So I create installations, and I'm still trying to instill some of that mystery that inspires me from the curiosity cabinets. So this was a recent installation of mine called Limbo. And this is another one that is actually an object assemblage. And as you can see here, these are all my objects. So you can imagine what my house looks like. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just a collection of these objects just accumulated over time. And I have really gotten to the point where I'm sick of it. This is my moving van. I moved 4 times in 1 year. This is the biggest moving van that you can get. Also, our 2 cars were completely full upon moving. And so I've gotten to the point where I'm like, enough is enough. And there's 7 bikes that I'm holding up there. You can't tell. There's 2 mopeds there. But I read this article recently, about a week ago, that's learning the value of stuff by moving overseas. So I decided to really participate in this game where I have to pretend I'm moving overseas to really cut down on the things that I own and feel what really the objects that are important to me. And one of my favorite movies is Amelie. So I was thinking about this idea where Amelie actually stole this gnome from her father unknowingly and had it travel the world. And I was actually reminded that I, in fact, do this with some of my own objects for fun sometimes. And so this is Indiana Jones, the cutout. And I actually took him on a road trip of mine to Oregon. When I was teaching art in high school, he looked over my classroom. He was just my guardian, and he went everywhere with me. But Indy was hard to carry around, and so I had to downsize to Dino, which moves around in my purse. And every photo opportunity I get, he actually comes out, and I take photos with various things, objects, places I go, to kind of document where I've been and the experiences that I have, and then soak that in. So I decided, why can't I have my installations actually move around to certain places? So my idea, the 365-day project, is to create a suitcase with my objects that I can travel around and install in different spaces for a year. And I think that so it's actually really hard to narrow down the amount of objects that I have, so I really thought about what objects of mine really project the most memories, mean the most to me, and I finally got to the point where I really narrowed it down to the objects that I could really utilize in these installations or assemblages. And so a lot of these objects are things that people have handed down to me. So this is an object in the moment, 1949, my grandma with her alligator purse. It made the cut for my objects. But these are some other objects. A Scotch etiquette book, rabbit's foot, barrette, locket. And then I also took a look at my own collections. That's my thimble collection. I could only take a handful of those. And just different collections that I have of butterflies and beach glass and keys. And I really had to narrow it down to my favorites. And that was really hard for me to do, but I do feel that, okay, so this is a toilet, and this is what, I'm on my trial period right now for the 365 project, and I thought that the most unlikely places would probably be the most interesting, so I chose a really personal place, my own bathroom, for my first place that I would experiment with. And it turned out that during that discovery, I found that it wasn't the majority of the objects that had the most effect, but a specific objects in relation to that space that actually made the most interesting picture. here. So the etiquette book opened to a dining table that in an area you were supposed to dine with the fish and the pearls. And then the oven was the next one. So these are places that are very unlikely that actually you wouldn't put objects that you really had a connection with. And this is where I determined that when you pick a space, when I pick a space, so I'm making rules for myself, that I could actually have objects that were in the space be part of my installation. So this is where I picked a mini muffin container, and it's not actually something I carry around in my suitcase, but I had my objects inside of it, and I felt that using objects within a space that I pick is a really important tool that I can use when I do some of this documentation. Later on, I took some of my objects to my art and reading class, because I want it to be that people actually have a connection with these objects. I don't want it just to be about me. I don't want it to be just personal. So I want them to be social objects, objects that people can relate to. And so I wanted to see who related to what object. So these are the classmates. So you can see Casey and Molly, I think, is here, yes. And so these are some objects that they had a personal connection to, whether it be because of inspiration, curiosity, or something that sparked a memory by. So I feel that objects, as in curiosity cabinets, as in, there's supposed to be a diagram